Ready?
Okay, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, let's get it. Okay, welcome back to the channel. So we have something a little different for you today. Myself and Dylan, who you would have seen on the channel before. What we want to do is start a weekly or a bi-weekly segment where we just discuss everything that's going on in the golfing world. Whether that is Happy Gilmore 2's release or Cameron Young winning, whoever won the Women's Open, the Seniors Open, just everything. We want a space where we can have a chat about it, go into some detail. Parts of it might be informative. The rest of it might just be a good laugh. But we want a space where we can start coming on weekly or bi-weekly to just discuss that. So we wanted to call this the Clubhouse Briefing.
Yes.
What do you guys think of that name? Personally, we love it, and we could definitely see that working moving forward. But anyway, I think we are very eager to get into this.
I'm sorry. Do you know, we've got some spectators right now, and we need some quiet, please. What do you call these things again?
I don't know, actually.
Like kind of like signs, some quiet, please signs. So if any of you make signs that say quiet, please, if you send them to us, we will shout you out. And we will use them. There's a lot to cover, especially considering this is the inaugural show. However, I think it's best to start with something that appeals to a larger audience. And with that being said, Happy Gilmore 2 came out, about 10 days ago now?
Yeah, I think so.
I have watched it. Have you watched it, Pavan?
I have watched some of it.
Okay.
Which I can expand on in a second.
Yeah.
I
will start, and I will tell you, I thought it was really good, which actually isn't what I've been hearing online. Seeing some of those tour players acting, I thought was perfect. Justin Thomas had some hilarious shots from, like, some of the pictures of Justin Thomas were comical. And having John Daly out there, just a little bit of a wholesome guy for me.
Yeah.
So, but talk to me about what you've seen of Happy Gilmore 2.
Yeah, so look, to be honest, I really loved Happy Gilmore 1. Like, I loved it so much that I memorized every word. It holds a special place in my heart. So I think I watched maybe 5 or 10 minutes of Happy Gilmore 2 up until we see Happy with his new family, with the kids. He's married to Virginia. And then he hits a wayward drive in a tournament and it hits Virginia. Oh, spoiler alert, right? Forget what I just said, but if you don't want spoilers, just forward to the next section. But anyway, this wayward drive hits Virginia in the head and she dies. And that was a lot for me to handle. I think too much. And then at that point, I decided I'm okay with just not watching this because I anticipated the rest of the film would follow suit and probably be a bit too much for me. A bit too gimmicky, a bit too sad. I don't know. To be honest, that kind of just ruined the vibe.
I think that's completely reasonable. I too was very upset when I saw that Virginia Gilmore died, but nonetheless, I thought it was great. And that scene where you've got all the old guys, Freddie Couples, Jack Nicklaus, Nick Faldo, having those guys around was great for me because, you know, as they're getting older, you're not seeing it as much of them now. And growing up, right, early 2000s, mid 2000s, these were guys that were commentating all the time, right? And it was great to see. I must say, seeing Nicholas and the bit with Freddie Couples and the dessert. There's a scene that you probably haven't watched. Well, you haven't watched that, but it's really good.
I think I will give it a watch. And on that point about the old boys, I've really been enjoying the Champions Tour golf and actually the Seniors Tour in the UK. I think it's Legends, right?
Yeah.
It feels like watching golf when I was a kid, seeing all those familiar names. I actually prefer watching it to the regular PGA Tour coverage because there's a lot of new guys. Certainly since we have to stop now because we've got spectators walking past.
Yeah. As I say, back to the signs. But sorry, you were talking about Senior Tour golf and why you like it so much.
Yeah,
elaborate,
it
please.
reminds me of when I was a kid, when I used to watch the golf religiously from Thursday to Sunday. And those same names that I used to, watch growing up are now on the Senior Tour leaderboards. And I honestly enjoy it more than watching PGA Tour because a lot of the guys nowadays, I haven't heard of them. And everybody on the Seniors Tour I have heard of. So yeah, I'm really enjoying that at the moment.
Yeah, I to be honest with you, in some ways I second that opinion. I like seeing golf that's more realistic to the type of golf that I could potentially go out and play. Like, not to say for any minute that I could go and hang with Podrick Harrington or any of those older gentlemen. But, they're wedging it close. They're hitting it, carrying it 275 through the air, 280 through the air. Yeah. And it's golf as it should be played. And obviously we saw the British Seniors was at Sunningdale last week?
Yeah. Mate, that course looks
that
so
course,
good.
and the thing is, right, when you're talking about professional golf, a course like Sunningdale Old in some ways does become obsolete, because if you're getting Bryson and you're getting these young guys pull up, all of them hit it a long way now. The first hole, for instance, at Sunningdale Old course is what, it's just short of 500-yard par five, something around that. And it's a driver and a chip for these guys. And that's not really, I think it's a discredit to the golf course. So I get what you're saying with the senior tour golf. I think it's great to watch.
Yeah,
I really
cool.
do. You know, a little story on the senior tour golf. When I was at college at the University of Alabama, they would host the Regents Tradition, which is a Champions Tour event at Greystone Country Club in Birmingham, Alabama. And I was there with a couple of friends of mine also on the team. And I walked over to the range and I see Steve Stricker all the way down the other end of the range. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to go and watch this guy hit balls, because I've always heard about Steve Stricker's short game, chipping, but just his general technique was always something to be marveled at. And I went and watched him for about an hour, maybe a bit less. And this guy hit the same shot for 1 hour. And I imagine he had a 55, 56 degree wedge, 100-yard sign, one bounce, hit the sign, one bounce, hit the sign. Yeah. Same technique, same flight, same turf interaction. And it was something that you just sat back there and thought, wow, like this is how you make money playing golf. This is how you do
it. You don't see it as much nowadays. I remember at Wentworth watching somebody called Darren Fickard from South Africa. I think one of the older boys. If he is watching this, which I doubt he is, I apologize. You're not old, but you know, one of the more classic players who relied on hitting it on a rope, right? And there on the range, there was a 200-yard sign and he was probably hitting 3 irons, but just lasers, like literally hitting the sign on repeat, and it was crazy.
And you realize like when we watch the professional golf, especially if you want to go to like TV golf, being PGA Tour golf, you're watching the best golfers in the world and the ones at the top of that leaderboard, right? So you're seeing an extremely high level of golf being played nowhere else on the planet at that one time. Yeah. And when you go to the range and you watch these guys, you can understand why they do it. But it's about doing it consistently, which I know is the purpose. But that's where, capping round to Scottie Scheffler, which we were talking about just before we started today, the guy's consistency is actually unseen the time I've been alive, right, and been watching golf. I've not seen someone do that. And obviously we've got the St. Jude this week on the PGA Tour. First, it's a FedEx Cup event.
Yeah, first one of the playoffs.
I think so. Yeah. What do you think? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think obviously he's the favourite, certainly with McIlroy not playing, which is, I don't know. I don't really know why he's not playing, to be honest. And he's probably resting up. I imagine it's going to be quite hot there. So he'll go into the following week with enough points and he'll be fresh. So I understand it from that point of view. Because he's not playing, I do think Scheffler is the favourite. Easiest thing to say. But I just want to touch back on the point about how consistent he is. And I think I like what he's doing, because he's showcasing that great golf isn't about hitting it far. Like, he's not a bomber, right? He's pretty much middle of the table, I'd say. I think with the top 100 in the world, he's probably like 50th driving distance.
I'm not sure.
Total driving. I believe he's not. I think his putting is better than his driving.
Right.
So look, he's not a bomber and he doesn't overpower courses. He's just so smart. Like, his strategy is on another planet. He plays boring golf. And for any amateurs watching, like the best way to get down to a low handicap, or even like to push on from scratch to like +4, +5, is all about strategy, picking good lines, picking good targets, and just trying to make as many pars as possible. Because that's 100%. All Scheffler does.
100%.
And on his bad day, he'll birdie the par 5s. And on his good day, he just cleans up on the greens now. Because I think he's like top 20 in putting. So Phil Kenyon, shout out to Phil.
Yeah, like, crazy what that guy's done.
One of the greatest coaches forever. I mean, he taught all the England squads, and then he's just changed everybody's game.
But it's a generational come up from him, right? Because like, you've never really seen a putting coach gain the notoriety that Phil Kenyon has. And his stable of players that he's worked with now for a while, all just have different. You can look at it from a setup perspective and a stroke perspective. They're all relatively different players.
100%.
And he has just got them all doing what they do well.
Yeah.
And I think that's the art of coaching to a large extent, right? With not just golf, but with all sports.
Yeah, 1000%. I think good coaching is not about changing swings or patterns. Good coaching is about refining what a player already has. And you can see that that's exactly what he's done with all his players, because they do look different, and there are coaches out there whose students look the same. And
I would run away from that. If I go in to any type of lesson or anything and they're teaching a by the book sort of blueprint formula for every single person, that automatically tells me that the person teaching that probably doesn't have enough of a skill set to assist everyone.
Yeah, I think more so at the top level.
Yeah.
Teaching beginners a
fundamentals,
like a pattern, then that's fair enough. But if you are teaching pros the same thing, it can be a bit dangerous, for sure.
I hear that.
With regards to the event next week, I think Scheffler is definitely the favourite. What about you?
I really like Sam Burns. I like some of those old school Southern SEC college graduate golfers this week. You know, this place is going to be Bermuda around the greens. It's going to be a proper sort of down south test of golf.
JT?
I love JT this week. You know, I just saw he put an Instagram post up saying only Memphis rap this week. So there's a lot of young Dolph on that playlist that JT is going to be listening to. And I back him just off that alone. So, but also I just want to talk briefly, if I may, about McIlroy, you know, because I think it's something that's got to be talked about. I don't think it's being spoken about because I think people are treading on eggshells, especially guys that are employed by mainstream golf, you know, the establishment, because McIlroy is now obviously a Grand Slam winner, and he is quoted for saying that he feels he can do what he wants now. And I don't think that is I don't think that's how you want to kind of represent yourself. And I don't think that's a good thing for young guys, like kids aspiring to be McIlroy. You know, he's missing so many press conferences at the moment. I think he has an obligation to the fans out there to talk no matter the situation, really, in my opinion.
I think it's a difficult one. I think everybody would like him to talk, but you have to realize that he's a human with emotions, and sometimes he's going to be upset and he just won't feel like talking to the press straight after a round. And to be honest, some of the people in the press don't ask the best questions. They ask silly questions. I think they're trying to get a response out of players just for clicks. And personally, I understand both sides of where he's coming from. I think it would be nice if he spoke to everybody after the round, but Woods, as far as I remember, he never spoke to people after the tournament.
Interesting.
And he declined it. People were like, you know, he's in the zone. And potentially that's what McIlroy is feeling. I get it. I think some of his comments in the media recently have been a little, I don't know, they've lacked filter.
Yeah.
But he's human. And I think if you put yourself in his shoes, everybody wants a piece of you. He just wants to go and spend the rest of the day with his family and rest. And even this week, like, he probably wants to just take it off and rest because it's going to be demanding. Like, playing 4 rounds is tough. Well, as you know quite rightly, it's not just 4 rounds, right? Like, it starts on Monday. It starts when you travel, which is usually either a Tuesday or a Monday. And it's flat out, and it will be for him. So I get that point. But, you know, this is a service-based type, entertainment-based thing. I do believe sports is that way. It's entertaining the people, because without the fans and the eyeballs, they're just a golfer that's hitting the ball in the hole. I do agree. Do you know what the rulings are like with other sports? Because McIlroy has said there's nothing in the contract that says they need to speak to media. Like, are other athletes required by contract to speak to the press?
It's a great question. I think, for instance, guys like the one who pops to my mind is Shohei Ohtani, the Japanese baseball phenom that's playing at the Dodgers. Okay. And I know that he does a lot of interviews afterwards, but they're always in Japanese with an interpreter. Okay. And I imagine that there is something in that where his brands, Mizuno, I think, some brands like that, are obviously paying him for the exposure in those particular interviews.
And F1, it seems like if they don't speak, they get fined. Is that correct? So they have to speak as well after the race?
I'm not sure. I don't want to post false information.
Anybody watching knows, like, let us know in the comments. And also, what are your thoughts on McIlroy not speaking to the press, skipping this week? I'm not really sure. I don't really have an opinion on it, to be honest, but I know a lot of people do. So yeah, your picks for the week.
I'm going to go...
Is Scheffler in there?
No, I'm actually not going to jump on that bandwagon, which I should do because, I mean, categorically, he's probably going to win. But no, I like Sam Burns. I like Justin Thomas. And I'm also going to go with Tommy Fleetwood because he's due. And after last week that I know we're going to talk about, it's time for another guy. It's time for another one to break through. You know, Cam Young, the guy, he was due, man. Rent was due with him. And it was only a matter of time.
The rent the W. Yeah, it was definitely due. Yeah, let's just talk about him now then.
Yeah, I know. Like, obviously, there was a bit of talk, and we spoke earlier today with regards to the ball change.
Yeah, changed the
He
ball.
changed that ball on Wednesday.
I think so, or at least on the Tuesday he was trying both, and then he just committed to one.
Yeah.
And I don't think the general public realize how much pros tinker. And you'll see clips of DJ trying out 4 or 5 putters on the morning of an event. And this is what people do. When you have access to every single bit of good technology in the game, then you're always going to want to try and get 1% or 0.5% better. And I don't know if the ball change was more placebo than anything, but it just goes to show like these guys are tinkering a lot, and that could have potentially been the difference between him winning and not winning, you know, and getting his first win on tour.
100%. Yeah, I think that obviously the changing of equipment and the tinkering, one thing that I'm sure people realize is the level of feel that these guys actually have earned in through just the grind. The sort of minute details that they can feel in the response from club to ball in their hands means that they actually see far bigger gains from these little tweaks or drop-offs, right? Or it goes the other way. But they're going to feel that far more than your 5 handicapper who's going to American Golf and trying 5 putters. You know, like the pros definitely gain more from the changes. But do you know, I'm of the opinion that he would have won no matter what ball he used. I do fundamentally believe that. I think what it was, right, was it's like when there's change, especially speaking for myself as a golfer, when I changed something, I freed myself up mentally a little bit because I didn't have any pre-existing thoughts as to what I was doing with what I had. And I think that's the case with him. I think he actually just felt a little bit freer because he just changed his ball.
Yeah.
And it was just that alone. It wasn't anything to do with the characteristics of the ball change. I think it was just that sort of loosen up.
100%. And I think everybody watching will be able to relate to that honeymoon period you have when you put a new putter in, a new driver in. All of a sudden, it just feels amazing. And I think he put it in so close to the tournament. He was able to ride that
100%
period throughout, and then
he rode it straight to the bank.
Yeah,
he literally
100%.
got in the car and he rode it to the bank.
I remember him in college. He was just always, he played, I believe, with Zalatoris.
Oh, Wake Forest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
absolutely.
the fact that he hasn't won already is very surprising, but he's always knocking on the door, just the cash machine. And, you know, so happy, to be honest, to see him win.
Yeah, me too.
Really happy to see him win.
Me
He
too.
didn't seem too happy when he tapped in. I mean, there was a lot of talk about his reaction on socials, certainly on X, but I don't know if that relates to the point that Scheffler made a few weeks prior, you know, saying that, you know, winning is once you do win. And I guess we've won tournaments on a smaller scale. It does feel like, you know, so what?
Yeah, 100%.
Because your mind is then focused on the next week.
Yeah.
I'm sure when Cameron Young tapped in, all he thought about was then preparing for the next event. Yeah, interesting. Super glad he won. Before we forget, I do want to mention a couple other guys who have won recently on lower tours. First of all, I want to talk about a friend of ours, David Langley, who has just gone nuclear on the clutch tour this season. David, like, has just been one of the hardest workers, I think, in the whole of golf, in the whole of sport. Like, David grinds and deserves every bit of success that comes his way. And he's won, I believe, 3 events this season on the clutch tour.
I think he's 3-peated.
I think so. I think
I know he definitely won back to back, but I'm almost certain it was a 3-peat.
And anytime you do that on, whether it's on the challenge or the clutch or any other tour like Alps, any feeder tour, if you win 3 times in the season, you get automatic promotion to the tour above. So now he's going to play the rest of the season.
Yeah, he's in Ireland this week.
Hotel planner, and then play the next year on the hotel planner. Unless he goes and wins 3 in a row on that tour, which he very well could do, because David is one of the most absurd putters on the planet. I mean, if he stays hot for the rest of the year, certainly riding into tour school, like, he could very well end up on DP next year. So shout out to David, the guy. If you watch this, you work so hard, man, and you deserve every bit of success that comes your way. We're all so happy for you.
I retweet that. Definitely, David. Yeah, it's great to see. You know, obviously, a few times while I was in the States, I bumped into Dave at Sea Island, where he's now a member in Georgia. And these little things make such a massive difference. You know, he's going in there and he's practicing with guys on the Corn Ferry, guys on the PGA. He's playing money games during the week out there. And I think that has been a massive factor in where he now finds himself, is making that investment into one of those premium clubs around tour players.
Yeah.
So, yeah, well done, Dave.
He just grinds.
He does.
And this, you know, the next person I want to mention grinds just as hard. Julian Suri just won on the web.com or Corn Ferry. Is it Corn Ferry?
Yeah, no, it's Corn Ferry.
Right, so he just won on the Corn Ferry after losing his game, I imagine. I mean, he came back, he was in the UK in 2022. I know Devon, his brother, well, and Devon messaged me saying, Julian's in town. Could he come play with you at the Buckinghamshire? So we played. I think he'd lost his cards then, and he was going through it with the swing. I think his body, he was injured. But one of the most like amazing guys I've ever met in golf. I think he gave me tons of valuable advice that week. And then I think 2 weeks later, I won on the Europro.
Wow.
It really helped me. And he stayed in touch, and I've been obviously following him since then. And we bumped into each other a couple of times the next season on the Challenge Tour, which for him must have been difficult because he's a PGA Tour player, or was, had won on the DP World. Any guy who comes back from DP to Challenge, it must be very difficult.
Yeah, for sure.
Like Manicero, which is why I give
Oh,
so
what a
much credit
legend.
for his comeback. But for Julian specifically, he came back to play Challenge. He then went over to the States. I don't know if he was doing Monday Qs or somehow he got his Corn Ferry card back, and then just grinds, man. He grinds so hard. And there are just certain people in golf that, we both know, people will know. They have a reputation. They're known for just grinding. And those are the guys you want to see reach the top, more so than anybody else. And for him to win last week made me so happy. And I think a reason why I want to do this segment is so that we can just talk about those types of wins.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go under the radar, right? And I think
sure.
they're sometimes the best one.
For sure. And I think, ultimately what draws me to that is because we're familiar with the grind, and these people, they're trying to make their dream a reality, which we both did too. And there's so much adversity out there that, especially golf and individual sports, but the athlete faces in that pursuit to where they want to be. And as you say, that reality check, that slap in the face of being at the PGA Tour and then falling down and feeling like your game isn't what it once was, and trying to get back there and not seeing the results from the practice that you're putting in, day out, and then to go and win like that. It's really what dreams are made of. That's what dreams are made of. So no, for sure, it's great to see. And there's so many guys out there. The Corn Ferry Tour, man, is stacked with absolute sticks. I really believe that, man. I really believe that.
Even I keep calling it Challenge Hotel Planner nowadays. It's just the depth is crazy. I mean, you've got most people who lose their card from DP will come back on it, and they're all winners on tour. And then all the young guns straight out of college going on Hotel Planner. I do think that tour is getting very strong. And you'll see with the guys winning this year on DP, most of them are Hotel Planner graduates. Between Hotel Planner and Corn Ferry, there's a boatload of guys who are just ready to come out and get the job done.
And unfortunately, because it's an entertainment-based thing, which drives the revenue and drives the purses, really, I don't think that they're being paid what they necessarily should and could be on these tours, especially when you look at the investment.
I think on the Corn Ferry, you can at least make a comfortable.
Yeah, Corn Ferry, yeah. The purse this week, Julie, the purse where he won, was $1 million purse. Yeah. I think he's probably taking $300,000 of that.
Hotel planners, purses, a good purse is like $250.
Yeah, so it's significantly less. Significantly.
It's a lot less, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, Julian, you're a hero, man, and good luck for the rest of the year. Now, should we touch on the ladies scene? Because there was some exciting, one exciting event going on last week.
For sure. Royal Porthcruel, Ladies British Open.
Have you played there?
I haven't. No, have you?
I played there in the British Am.
Oh, wow. What year would that have been? Do you remember?
I think that would have been 2016.
Okay.
But
yeah.
The weather was so bad.
Really?
I don't know what I think it was called Pyle and Kenfig, the other course.
Okay, that makes sense.
And I played good at Porthcawl, but second round was at Pyle and Kenfig. And Mike Caddy and I stayed in the car until my tee time. It was raining so bad.
No way.
So it was a washout. Didn't make the match play.
Yeah.
But I'm just blaming it on the way.
yeah, that's valid. That's valid.
So yeah.
But yeah, going in. Oh yeah, it looked awesome on the TV. And it looked quite fair for the ladies too. Scoring was decent, and you saw a lot of birdies, which I think is in the women's game, especially just to get that entertainment element of it up, getting them going low. Is good. And I think that the course design and the setup for the ladies British was really good.
Yeah, I think the US Open seemed. I'm friends with one of the caddies, and he was posting videos on his Instagram, I guess behind the scenes, but you could really see up close what was happening around the greens, and it did seem a bit unplayable, which I didn't particularly enjoy, because there were cases where
I'm so sorry.
That's all good. I'm keeping that in.
So do you know what that is, everyone? That is Scottie Cameron's alert to dropping Circle T putters on a Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. Pacific time. So anyone who's on a Wednesday at 5:30 UK time, or sorry, 4:30 UK time, you can enter for a Scottie Cameron Circle T at scottiecameron.com.
Nice.
Yeah, just get that in there, Scottie
Where
Scheffler.
Yeah, Scottie. Said about it. Yeah, no. So I saw some stories of how brutal the greens were, and I think there was a case of a lady hitting it onto a drivable par 4 and ending up make 7, putting off the green. So a little bit unplayable. So it was nice to see Portugal in, I guess, fairer conditions.
Just watching some of it myself, so many young girls that you don't know of or have heard of who are making it in the game these days. You know, it used to be dominated. From my perspective, I used to see I know Stacey Lewis is a little bit of time ago now, but it was like Lexi Thompson,
Yeah,
Stacey Lewis,
Yanni Seng, like she was like a Tiger Woods equivalent in terms of health.
And Michelle,
I don't know how much she won, to be honest.
Yeah,
compared to like Yanni.
Michelle was a hype. Michelle was she looked good in the Nike clothes. It was the hype thing.
Played in the men's event, so
she did. Yes, in Hawaii. Yes.
Yeah. No, I mean, what
a player. Very cool. Very cool.
What a player is Charlie Hull. Like I really wanted her to make a run.
Yeah.
At the end on the last day, I think she's like carrying not even just women's golf, like UK golf in general. She's definitely becoming more visible on socials. I think collabing with Melbourne for her is huge. She's been involved in the TaylorMade ads with the likes of Woods and Fleetwood and those guys in the States. So who's screaming?
Are you okay? I think they're just super pumped up about Charlie Hull's impact on women's golf.
So yeah, look, the fact that she's in those ads now, like, is huge, and she's doing wonders for UK again.
Most definitely, she's a maverick. You know, she's a total maverick, and Melbourne, is also a maverick brand. So they fit really well together. I'm sure that she'll be around the women's game for a very long time to come. 100%. I don't see her doing anything else besides staying where she's at and only improving. I think she'll be a catalyst for any Solheim Cup team. She'll be really carrying that European side, which is great. You know, I've had the pleasure of meeting her a few times. Wonderful lady, very well mannered, and a great golfer. You know, we're on the range with her about maybe 6-7 months ago now, and the girl was flushing it. So it's no surprise to me that she does.
Do you think she can make a run for the number 1 spot? I suppose, seeing as Nelly Cord is now not number 1, there must be, obviously, it must be tight at the top.
Yeah,
where
she's
ranked. But I think, like, just seeing her reach number 1 would be.
I'm gonna go on a whim and say she's probably top 5 in the world right now. Anyway, I would guess.
I'll check that.
Yeah, we'll get a live confirmation of that.
Okay, so you're saying I'm gonna go on it's the Rolex rankings, right?
Yes, I'm gonna say top 5. I'm gonna say she's 5th in the world.
I feel like she must be, right?
Yeah,
it's certainly inside the top 10. Oh, 10th.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, there are some really good players.
What is, in relative to GB&I terms?
Yeah.
Where is she ranked?
She's the number 1.
Okay.
Yeah, she's the number 1. But you've still got Lydia still at 3, Lydia Ko, Minji Lee, who's just an absolute stud, like her brother.
Yeah.
4th, Angel Yin. And then, Charlie's at 10. But the points average, I don't know how this really works. Top 10, she can definitely get to number 1.
Yeah,
100%.
Definitely. 100%. No, I like that.
On to another Charlie Woods.
Killer.
He's finding his feet.
Killer.
Really is.
Yeah. Love to see it. Absolutely. Ever since that hole-in-one at the PNC, the dude has been...
Which one? Hasn't he had like loads of good shots at the PNC?
Yeah, he did. But that hole-in-one was electric. I loved seeing Tiger react like that. It was really good. And playing with Bernhard Langer too and his son in the final group. That was cool. I mean, Charlie's a real player, man.
Certainly after winning the AJGA event, was it 2 months ago?
Yeah.
Look, the guy got so much stick online. I think he was covered in every event, rightfully so. He's Tiger's son. And anytime he shot over par, the comments were not very nice. And he is a young kid who probably sees that stuff. And just, I think for him to be able to win and prove to himself that he is not just Tiger's son who gets into every event through connections, but he can go out there and post some good scores.
Oh yeah, the boy can play. The boy can definitely play. You know, as you say, Tiger Woods' his son, he's going to be able to play. But also, when his dad's not around, you can best believe he's teeing it up at the back tees at Medalist, and he's grinding out a score. I mean, and he's going to be playing with golfers better than him. I would imagine he'll be the worst golfer in his group almost every time he plays, and that is such a big thing for his development.
100%.
Obviously, I saw the other day on a Golf Channel interview that he's now got to the age where he can officially talk to college coaches. So it's an exciting time.
He's going to Stanford.
You reckon?
I think, well, Tiger went to Stanford. I'm not sure how, I don't think they'll really need him to get the grades.
That's true.
I think he'll be at Stanford just to
That's true.
continue the Woods legacy, you know? He seems like a really smart kid, so I imagine he'll suit Stanford, and Stanford have an amazing program. If he wants to like increase his chances of developing into a good enough player to play on tour, Stanford's about as good as
Coach Conrad.
Yeah, 100%.
Coach Conrad Ray, a legend.
We've had some amazing, especially recently, like the players that have come through since, I'd say Maverick.
Yeah, man.
You got Maverick, Brandon Roos come through, Isaiah's come through. Like you got.
Who's the other guy with Maverick who was there at the same time? Patrick Rogers.
He was a bit older.
Oh, older was he? Okay.
But he's still on the PGA. He's playing really well.
Patrick Rogers, proper golfer.
They will. I think they just
Stanford does breed that.
Amazing
Stanford
program.
does breed that for sure.
Yeah.
But he can probably, I would imagine he'll have a space on any golf team in the country. And it's a case of him finding that fit. I am going to go on a whim, and I am going to say that he is either going to go to Florida State and play with who's the young lefty who's just signed for them? Do you know the kid Miles Russell? Well, I could see him being on that team, or potentially maybe he goes to the Crimson Tide. Maybe he's an Alabama golfer. You never know.
I imagine he lives in Jupiter.
Yeah,
so staying in Florida for him might be more comfortable. Let's see, Tallahassee there might be a bit different.
Yeah, that's a dangerous place, Tallahassee.
But I was just going to say, the fact that he's winning an AJGA event just shows that this kid's the real deal. You don't win on the AJGA if you can't play.
That's a fact. That's a fact. And I mean, just even past that, it was the Junior PGA Championship.
Yeah, and he was like top 10.
Yeah, and top 2 got
of making Junior Rally.
Correct. So kid's going to be around. You're going to see the boys.
It's nice to see.
I agree.
It's another player that we want to just talk about, where it's nice to see them playing well, because you know he's clearly put in a lot of work.
Oh, most definitely.
Clearly put in tons of work. He looks really, really refined.
Yeah, and not just on his golf game, but in the gym too. You know, he's a young kid, and he's got that genetics about him.
He's the size of his hands.
Money. Love it. Going on from there, I think.
Pretty much touched on everybody we wanted to discuss, really.
Do you know, the only thing that I really wanted to talk about, as mentioned at the beginning of the episode, it's an inaugural one for us. And I wanted to talk to Pavan a little bit about the Turkish Airlines Open. So this year, Pavan played on the DP World Tour. And just so you guys get to learn a little bit more about how that came to be, do you want to talk to us, Pavan, about how you got into that event?
Yeah. So I play in a Pro-Am at Regnum, which happens twice a year. And that's pretty much the only competition golf I play nowadays. But Regnum were hosting the Turkish Airlines this summer, or in April. And so they had a spot up for grabs for the Pro-Am winner. So I found out the day I landed. So, you know, all of a sudden I took it a bit more serious, and then, made sure I got that spot. And was very fortunate to be teeing it up back on the main tour again for one event, which was nice. We had a great week. Dillon came out to caddy. It was a bit last minute.
It was, but it was.
But we had an amazing week.
We did. And it was a great example of staying ready. And as much as Pavan will tell you he doesn't play a lot of pro golf, which is correct, he does stay ready. You know, the guy grinds, he works on his game. And I was really proud of how we went about our work that week. Yeah. You know, it was very methodical from start to finish. And we played with Wilco Niembar and your friend
Oliver Lindell.
Yeah,
who's also an absolute
killing.
So consistent. I mean, he's such a joy to watch. And you will probably see, if any of you follow golf religiously, he's always hovering around top 10. I think last year, to finish the Hotel Planner season, he had like 8 out of 10 top 10s, which is ridiculous. And Wilco, I actually don't know where Wilco plays most of his golf, whether it's main tour or challenge, but I believe he's going to have a main tour card now pretty much the next year or so. Another amazing player and a great guy, both really good guys. 2 of the most elite ball strikers I've seen and played with. I don't know if you'd agree with that. And they're going to be definitely making some moves.
Yeah,
Across.
I would agree. And just to talk a bit more about your experience playing on the European Tour, DP Tour, what were a couple takeaways, let's say a positive and something that you learnt from that week, start to finish?
There were a few positives, tons. I think last time I teed it up on that tour was 2023. I was a bit injured with my wrist. I was out of shape. Swing wasn't feeling good, and I just wasn't in a good place. So this time, it was 2025, a couple of years after, my swing felt better, body was healthy, had you on the bag, which helped a ton. I think something that we did really well throughout the week was we just hit a lot of, we were saying perfect shots, but we went through our process, picked out good targets, picked out clubs based off of the wind and lie, and we just did that over and over again. So the biggest positive was really like how we worked and the amount of those shots we hit. It was basically every single time.
Yeah.
Barely missed a shot and barely messed up our process. The obvious negative was my putting for the week. Putting's always just held me back, and my strokes gained. Tee to green was over 10, strokes gained putting was more than -10, right? So
yeah,
I think if we had a good putting week, we would have contended. So it was nice. I felt really comfortable. It was good to see familiar faces. And personally, the most comforting thing for me was, I just felt good out there. I felt like I wasn't out of place.
No.
Whereas when I had teed it up on the main tour before, I did feel a little out of place. But no, this week, I turned up, I prepped as a pro would. I did my gym work, and then I just played some really solid golf. So it was good to be out there. For sure.
Yeah, I love to hear that, Pavan, and I completely second everything you said there. You definitely looked at home. And yeah, it was interesting. And what you going back to that process element of what we did, what was so fun for us was that we genuinely had moments out there, or at least I did, where 5 or 6 holes went by, where we were just going into a process every single shot, every time. And we entered a little bit of a flow state, and you hold out from 200 yards on a par 4. It was the 3rd hole. I'll never forget it as long as I live. Winged slightly.
I couldn't hold a single putt there.
Dude, yeah. We just had to start holding it from 200 yards. It was, and then obviously the kid up by the green was having a great time. Pavan kindly gave him the ball, and it made that kid's day. So that was a nice gesture that you did there. And yeah, do you know the reason why I ask, and for the viewers to understand a little bit more about it, is because just to elaborate on the depth of your experiences, Pavan. Like you're coming when you're talking and we're discussing these points. We're coming from an area where you've been around these guys, these guys, and there's a tremendous amount of validity to what you have to say just off of the experiences that you've had. So that was just a bit more context for us. And I like to relive the Turkish Airlines Open. It's my best week of the year so far.
I wanted to ask you about how you found the week. I know you enjoyed it a ton. You certainly took advantage of everything that that event had to offer.
Yeah, I was player and agent and friend
and therapist and coach. I put a video up on my story, and we were talking through some fields, which I think we also did really well. Throughout the week, we managed the misses in the game really well. Somebody responded like, "Who's that coach you're working with?" So just how you were talking, it was quite funny.
It was good, man. And obviously Regnum as a place is absolutely stunning. The gym and the hotel there is one that I would recommend anyone to go to, and because we were at the event and playing, I managed to finagle my way into the big hotel, the Regnum Hotel, and I like to get a gym session in. I was working out in the gym and bumped into Marco Pengen there, who's a friend of Pavan's, and I was really getting after it. So I didn't, and also these guys, as much as I'm familiar with him, I don't know him, so I stayed out of his way. I gave him a light nod.
He came to me the next day and said, "Your caddy loves training, doesn't he?" I was like, "What?"
Correct, exactly. Yeah, so it was just nice, man. These guys are out here playing for serious money, and they're professional golfers, and they're also really great people. So yeah, that was.
I mean, Marco, what a year he's having.
Marco's a legend,
considering
mate.
and we could go on forever talking about these guys who have just stuck at it. They're really nice guys. Marco last year, I believe, heading into the back end of the Challenge Hotel Planner season, he was not even inside the top 80. Got into the Tour Champs, won Tour Championship, got his DP card. He's won in Singapore. Was Singapore? No, that was Mansell.
That was Richard.
Richard. Did he win in Singapore?
Yeah, Mansell. Yeah, Richard Mansell.
But Marco also won abroad in Asia.
Yeah, he did. I'm not sure where.
China?
Potentially.
So, and now he's won on the tour, and what an amazing guy. What I love about Marco is that he just hasn't changed a single bit. He's always silly, always laughing, and he was the same in Turkey. I kind of want him to play on the Ryder Cup team this year.
I would love
And
to
I
see
think we'll
Marco
talk
do
about
that.
that in another segment because there's tons to discuss there.
For sure, for sure. The only thing I'll say about him, which struck me from the moment that I kind of was familiar with him, the guy's got swag. You know, like when someone has that swag and you can pick up that they're as you'd say down south, a dog.
Yeah.
The guy's a dog. You know, he's there to go play.
He's got this
And,
aura.
he's got that swag,
I
man.
think when it
So
comes to match play, like he's a bomber.
I back him. I really back him.
But the team's so strong. How do you fit Marco in unless he has multiple wins?
Yeah,
It would have to be like that. I know Captain Luke and Marco are both Mizuno boys. It could be like a little favorite pick, but it's totally valid.
Yeah,
If he goes to Bethpage, like he's gonna make that course.
he could do really well at Bethpage.
Yeah,
You know, he
bombers
would
around.
do, especially in something like foursomes. You know, you get him and like a Justin Rose together, could be pretty solid.
Lethal.
But I think you got the Højgaards, right? You imagine that one of them were. I don't know if they'd be there. You imagine they would. I know that one of them was obviously at Marco Simone. I forget if it. I think it was Rasmus.
No.
I think, or is it Rasmus and Nikolai?
Nikolai was at Marcus Simone. Now Rasmus, I think, is in the team. I don't know what's gonna happen there.
I played in a pro. I caddied in a pro-am with Rasmus.
Yeah?
Right. Yeah. BMW at Wentworth. And we had a very funny day. It was the afternoon of the Pro-Am, and we were playing with three guys who represent. Who does Tiger Woods do? The Hero? Is it the Hero India?
Yeah,
like type
Hero
thing.
Motorcorp.
Hero Motorcorp in India. It was three guys from Hero.
Yeah.
And Rasmus and I was out there caddying, and to tell you the truth, one of the guys then he hit me with a golf ball. It was really bad, actually. It was really bad. I was tending the flag on the 16th hole at Wentworth West, to go into detail, and the other dude, who I don't know, he was playing his seventh shot from the bunker greenside. I'm tending the flag, holding the flagstick for my guy, and he just hits it out of the bunker, thins it. It misses my head by no more than a few foot, and I turn around to Rasmus and his coach, and this coach is like this. And I must say, I got quite angry, and I did tell the guy never to do that again. And I thought it was very disrespectful that he didn't realise I was right there. But Rasmus, proper flusher, man.
They both
proper
are.
flusher.
They both are. I mean, it would be good to have them both in the team. Anyway, but I think we can talk for a whole hour about that. Maybe
No doubt.
we'll discuss that in the next
doubt.
episode.
And I would like to say, I imagine Pavan will echo this. This is something for the entertainment of the people watching to a very large extent. And if there's anything that you would like us to cover and talk about in future videos, we would really like that feedback. And to this video, you know, positives, negatives. We're here to learn, and we're here to hopefully continue to do this and continue to create a community of like-minded people that want to talk about the game and grow the game. For it to be a longevity piece, we really would appreciate
Any feedback.
100%.
Any feedback. I personally have actually really enjoyed this.
Yeah, I have to.
I think it's quite nice to just be able to open up and talk about anything.
Most
Anything
definitely.
golf-related.
Most definitely.
And yeah, we'll take on any feedback and improve and continue to improve, and hopefully we can just create a space where we can just cover everything in golf.
Yeah, and maybe beyond at some point.
100%.
Maybe beyond,
On-course
you know?
stuff, we need a match. We had that planned. I had a little injury, but we'll get that done
Yeah.
pretty soon. Dillon's quite a good golfer, although you've turned amateur, haven't you?
I have, yeah. I didn't want to, just to get into that real quickly, because I wanted to clarify it.
Let me just check.
Okay. I just wanted to quickly clarify some things on my renewal of my reinstatement as an amateur golfer. It just boils down to respect. You know, I know the life of a professional golfer, and I know for a fact that I'm not living that life. So I didn't want to ride off of a fake status as a professional. Once was, not for a very long time. Did okay, but not great. And yeah, it was one of those things where I thought to myself, I'll get my amateur status back. Potentially, with how things go, I'd love to go play an English Am, British Am, US Mid Am next year for me, turning 25. I'm going to go and try and play in that. And yeah, it was just more of a respect piece.
That's exciting.
For professional golf.
You could definitely compete in a British and a US Am. You're a serious player. And
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool. That'd be very cool.
Yeah, so we've got the US Am coming up, right? And I've got some buddies playing in it. So good luck to Cooper Claycomb, one of my teammates' brothers.
Good luck.
Cooper is getting hot on the golf course right now for Louisville and this summer. So the US Am
Where
is
the US Am?
Olympic Club. San Francisco, baby.
Favorite course.
So damn pure. So pure.
That course, we could talk about that for a whole hour.
Yeah.
I mean, what a course. What an amazing course.
Do you know?
And amazing burger dogs they have.
They do on the range.
Yeah.
Up by the range, the burger
yeah.
dogs are 10 out of 10 for sure. But do you know the one thing that I love about Olympic Club, right? And it's a great design feature when you don't necessarily have a tremendous amount of land. And that is when the terrain of the land slopes from right to left,
But it's
and you have
the other
a left to right sloping fairway, so you have to either fade it into the hill or draw it
They've
into the
mastered
hill.
that. They've
It's a
absolutely
great
mastered it.
design that actually brings everyone back to a more level playing field.
Well, it's like you need complete control over your golf ball. You need to be able to literally spin it into a slope with a long iron to hold a fairway, and it's the ultimate strategist's course.
Absolutely.
You know, Webb Simpson winning there was no surprise because that guy knows how to get a ball around the course.
Yeah.
He's not a bomber, but he can get the job done. You know, he's a smart thinker.
Yes.
And I do think if the US Open does go back there, it's Scheffler's all day.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy is one of the few who can shape it both ways reliably. That's why he has won so much, in my opinion. I guess very quickly, I'll touch on this.
Right.
I was in Dubai at the Claude Harmon Institute. Claude was there and he spent some
At
time.
the L's.
Yeah, and he spent
Nice.
some time with me, which, you know, I was very lucky to have that time. And we were just talking about golf and how to play good golf. And, you know, I learned a lot from this. He asked me which way I wanted to hit it. He was like, you know, where do you want it to start and which way do you want it to move? At the time, I had no idea. I was playing really poorly on the MENA tour. So I was trying to hit fades, but then I told him I'm actually trying to hit draws. Okay. So then he's like, right, we're going to set this drill up. And I failed it. It was so bad. But he said, everybody on tour. And at this time, he was coaching Brooks, Dustin, Ricky. So like major winners and tour winners, right? Like the best of the best. And he's learned from his dad, Butch. Yeah. So he knows what he's talking about. Yeah. He was like, these guys can do this drill at will. They know where they're going to start it, right or left of the stick. They know which way they're going to shape it, and they're not going to overshape it, which he referred to as a double cross. So that can also be a double cross, right?
Yeah.
Which in itself was very valuable. And I've only ever worked on that since, and it's improved my game. But he said the only players at that time who were shaping it both ways were Tiger Woods and Bubba Watson, who you saw last week at Lick, right? Close up. Since then, Scheffler has entered the scene, and I believe he also shapes it both ways very comfortably.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where you saw this shine through was at Quail Hollow. There was a drivable par 4 coming in. I think it was the third round. He eagled it, right? Wind was howling off the left, and everyone was flaring it out. And his shape with the wood it's a fade.
Yeah, it's a cut. Yeah.
But he was so comfortable turning it into like a howling wind. He was the only person who was able to access that pin. That was just one example of how his shot shaping ability makes him just the most elite player on the planet.
Yes.
What was my point? Olympic, right?
Yes.
So if the US Open goes to Olympic, he's going to walk it.
Yeah.
He's going to walk it. It's not going to be close.
I second that. And now you've actually touched on another point that I think adds some value, and that is the dark side of professional golf, live golf. I was at the JCB this last weekend to watch, and
You caddied, right, in the Pro-Am?
No, so I didn't. So a buddy of ours played in the Pro-Am with the Fireballs team, and he called me up and he asked if I wanted to go down and caddy for him, which I said absolutely. Went down there, and Liv had arranged caddies for everyone in the Pro-Am. So I had the best possible scenario of
behind the ropes,
just walking,
to do.
just chilling, just absolutely chilling. And yeah, it was really good. We went onto the range before the round, and you got Bubba Watson 5 feet to my right hitting just incredibly crazy golf shots.
Must have been so cool to watch.
It was so cool, man. It was, because again, going back to that aura thing, Bubba's got it, and just the way in which he moves.
He's won 2 Masters.
Yeah, man, he's a multiple Masters winner.
Serious player.
It's crazy. And it was really good to see. And, you know, they've got the music there. It's a different vibe. As I say, I like to refer to it as the dark side of golf. And
I like it.
I like it too. I'm not saying that it's necessarily a bad thing, but it's just, it's got that little sort of...
They're the rebels.
Of the establishment. Yeah, they are rebels to the establishment. But it was really good. And the format of everyone teeing off at once, didn't think I'd like that, truthfully. However,
Everyone has the same wins.
and it's really fun coming down the stretch when you've got 3 or 4 guys in it,
It is.
and they've all got 2 holes left, or they've all got 3
I
holes
remember
left.
watching one of the events. I don't know if it was Mexico, but everybody obviously finished at the same time. It was really, really intense, super intense, not only for the individual prize, but for the team prize. Because I don't know if John Rahm was battling it out for individual. Then you had like Caleb Surratt or one of the other guys, Vincent, one of the Vincent brothers.
Okay.
He had to like bogey or par the last to win the team prize. I don't think he did, but it was really good.
Yeah,
it's
it's
quite
good.
gripping, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure. No, absolutely. And in that pro-am that I was kind of a part of, we played with Ballester, US Am champion, current US Am champion, who played in his 3 majors as an Am. And then when that was done,
in Rays Creek, right?
he did piss in Rays Creek. I actually...
Did you ask him about it?
I didn't. You know, we were having a great day, and it turns out we played in some similar tournaments in college. No, similar guys. And I didn't really want to bring it up, but I wish I did now, so I could share with you the details of that conversation. I thought he was, he's a bomber, and he's got the physical attributes.
And Spanish hands.
He's got. Do you know? So it's funny you say that, Spanish hands, right? So we're on a tee box, and he gets this like powder out. And he starts powdering his hands, right? And I look at him and his caddy. It's only the 3 of us up on the back tee while all the Ams were on a tee sort of 50 yards up. We're sitting there. He powders his hands. I go, "Is that how you get Spanish hands?" And he went, he didn't really understand what I say. The caddy laughed. He went, "No, it's liquid chalk."
Yeah.
And I went, "Oh, wow, liquid chalk." And that's what it was. But I like to refer to that now, considering he's the only guy I've ever seen do it, as that's his Spanish hands sauce.
I'm surprised he used it here because it's... Well, your hands don't really get sweaty.
No, it was strange.
When we played South Africa on Challenge Shore, I'd always have liquid chalk.
Liquid chalk?
Really good.
I'd never heard of liquid chalk.
I mean, it's the same stuff you use in the gym, right? Just for more grip. So, putting it on your non-glove hand is really nice. It keeps it surprisingly works.
Yeah. Interesting.
Everybody, grab some liquid chalk, keep it in the bag. You just never know when you're going to need it.
And a Swiss Army knife. It's another good thing for the bag.
Why?
It's good for the bag. A Swiss Army knife, you know.
While we're at it, get a pencil case for all your Sharpies. If you haven't checked out my WhatsApp bag video.
A rubber is the quickest way to drop your scores. So
don't do that. Don't do that.
In the words of Arnold Palmer.
Take the L. High school's fine. It's just golf. Just a game.
Oh, I'm kidding.
All right. Anyway, listen, that was really fun.
Dude, loved it, man.
Yeah, loved that.
Absolutely loved it.
Anyway, any feedback, let us know. Anything you want us to discuss in the next one. I think we want to get to a stage where we can do this weekly, at least when the golf season is on. That'd be cool. Bi-weekly is also cool, or maybe leading up to big events. We certainly want to do one where we talk about the Ryder Cup and also the playoffs. So if you have watched this far, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Dylan,
appreciate it. Thanks for the time.
For coming on. I think we are going to start something together and brand this a little differently. But for now, it'll be on this channel. And moving forward, any suggestions, let us know. And hopefully the next one of these will be out very soon. Anything you want to say?
Keep your eyes peeled.
All right, take it easy. See you in the next one. And that next one might be our 1v1. So that's
yes, sir.
exciting.
Let's go. Peace.